succeeded because they were using the examples. They were using the tropes that we all knew subconsciously, that we all knew deep down inside were there, and were basing it off of our innate abilities to understand these symbols. The prequels, George Lucas wasn't using the symbology or the collective unconscious. He was using Star Wars. He was actually, let me rephrase, he was using his own writing. You go from, luminous beings we are, not this crude matter, to, are we still gonna die? And that's the best, really. So in my mind, that's kind of give you an example of, the original trilogy was that success of bringing back a myth, and prequels are kind of how the myth failed. It was, well, hold on, let me finish this one point. It was like making a copy of a copy. Sooner or later, you will notice the degradations. And in the prequels, I'm bashing the prequels a lot in this one. I do enjoy the prequels, not as much as the original, but I'm calling a spade a spade. You have a question?
Well, I would say, I believe there maybe was something he was intending for and it just fell in the way. The thing that the prequels always remind me of with the thorough line is more the hubris of the tragic hero, thinking like Othello or the status play, but it failed because it didn't have the thorough line with the filters that you were talking about.
Well, actually, I'm going to give you one. Well, I really actually have I like that. There are a couple of other reasons why I think it didn't do that well, and I'll actually mention some of them later. So, the question now is, how do we apply that to what we do? I mean, we can't do the big, massive epic. Well, some of us in the room can, or at least would like to give it a shot. But the thing is, it's certain things that we need to keep in mind. What is this?
Toy.
No. All right, no.
Symbol.
That. Dirk.
It's a lightsaber.
Thank you. And what is a lightsaber?
A weapon.
Sword.
A weapon of the Jedi Knight. Less random and clumsy than a blaster. More elegant weapon for more civilized age. Obi-Wan Kenobi, when he tells us this, is basically saying this. This is a weapon only a Force user adept could use, not some random punk in the alley. By having this was your badge of office, one way or the other. And when you used it, that means shit was about to happen that the most of the galaxy was unequipped for. Not to be taken lightly. Flynn, during the samurai classes, will actually bring up, the samurai sword that once you cock it out of the sheath a little bit, that means it's got to be used. What? It's not something to be taken lightly. I mean, we kind of lose that fact since we're all lightsaber users, basically gang beating each other. But essentially, that's the way it has to be handled, is that this is a weapon that could do either serious damage to me, the user, and you, the victims. This was serious game. Kristen.
And going upon that ideal, the lightsaber or samurai sword was a symbol of your station and who you were. It was meant to be respected. If it was unsheathed or turned on in this case, basically you knew you were either very, very screwed or somebody else is going to get lucky.
Oh, then let me finish. I'm out of time. And that's the way it is in the rest of the universe. I mean, symbols are replete throughout the universe. The lightsaber being the one you should kind of focus on just a little bit more. The other one I want to focus on and actually kind of touch on from our previous character class, the Force. And the Force is basically what? Mastery of the universe, from the microscopic to the complete galactic speed. You hear stories about people who can actually navigate through space and time using the Force. And you hear people who can shrink their presence into a microscope. That is what the Force represents, is mastery of the universe. It's not just, me Force choking out. It's me using that or manipulating it to choke it. The light side and the dark side are representatives of how that power is used. The light side, and its ultimate extreme in the Jedi, is using the power for everyone but ourselves. It's sacrificing ourselves as tools to help the galaxy that cannot use it. While the Sith and the dark side in general is using the powers for our own personal gains and wants. This kind of comes up from the character class as, Mike, actually, you brought this up during Libo's presentation. I'm sorry I'm going to use you as an example, but we had some contention that you were a dark side or Jedi, or something of that nature. And we were all kind of sitting there going, how does that work? In truth, you can't. Because to use it, it's one of those things where, how can you be a Jedi if you do not think of others? Which is kind of one of the reasons why none of us in this group actually play straight up hardcore Jedi. We're all exceptions to the rule in our stories. I'm one of them. But, and it's kind of why a couple of us have been talking about building our own Jedi characters, because the Jedi are a symbol of self-sacrifice. That their lives mean nothing in the grand scheme. The grand scheme is the galaxy is safe.